All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday, y'all. Listen, we have a lot to talk about. Hospital racism exposed. Digest that. This is nothing new, it's just coming to the forefront. This is nothing new. If you understand the research, the data, and the statistics, and hopefully we have some, well, if we have medical professionals in the chat tonight, thank you. Thank you for coming. We welcome your expert professional opinion. And if you would like to use the super chats to make sure that I can see that, please feel free to do so. I would like to prioritize any feedback or any data or medical commentary that you would like to offer to support the conversation tonight. But recently, what's happening is a mother went into labor and she delivered or was on in the process of having labor pains to deliver what would be her third birth. And social media, rightfully so, had a fit because the nurse sat there completely disconnected from the patient, ignored her level of pain, where she was in the stages of labor, and it was a horrible birth. Since then, it's been circulating on social media that the nurse has been fired. Y'all, back up, back up. I think we were too quick on that. I don't think she's been fired yet. I do believe she's been placed on administrative leave as they investigate what happened from start to finish. So I do not believe the nurse has been fired. Now let me explain something to you. I don't know about you. Tone, cadence, eye contact is everything to me. Baby, if your tone is off with me, you know what? Never mind. Well, ma'am, I didn't. Hey, excuse me. I said never mind. You have to understand the way healthcare works here in the United States. The first thing is, in most cases, any facility and or hospital organization that receives federal funding is probably a patient-centered facility. Patient-centered means that they are ranked on the patient satisfaction scores. Okay. You may not be able to get what you need in that moment, and we're not just talking labor and delivery. Tear their asses up with surveys because they have to submit those numbers, and it can impact the amount of federal funding that they receive. Also, for the nurses, the doctors, the medical staff, the frontline employees, eat them up on your employee opinion surveys and talk about some of the things that you've seen, some of the things that could be considered calling the line, so that when because they have third parties that administer these surveys, right? Thank you. Thank you. Marine Mom, K Young say, sure do. So the hospital doesn't control how that feedback is utilized and where it goes. A third party entity is in control over the surveys. So let me tell you what to do. What do? You can call a freaking timeout if you don't appreciate the bedside manner of your nurse or your doctor. And you can say, you know what? I really feel like this is not the level of care that I anticipated. And just for my safety and my comfort level as a patient, let me tell you your rights. I would like to ask for a different nurse. Well, ma'am, I just ask you, I would like to ask for a different nurse. And if you're not the right person to help that can give me that, can you please find the right person? Thank you. Don't get loud because they be waiting on that. They're going to go back and forth with you, may even cut you off because let me just tell you, it's just natural in healthcare for nurses and doctors to cut you off because they are used to facilitating and driving the conversation. In many cases, I don't think, even though they can come off real rude, I don't think they're being rude. It's just kind of the nature of the beast, right? Especially in ER and or ICU. But you got to hold your ground. You got to say what the hell you said. And let me tell you something before we get into it about those of you that have veins. If your heart stick and it gives you a little bit of anxiety when you're being poked and prodded, listen, you don't have to let them try over and over again. You can give them one, maybe two, and then say, I need somebody else. I need somebody else. They know the protocol. Or they can go get the sonogram from ER. They have a vein finder. So I'm just giving you some of your rights, but we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. That nurse was not empathetic. That nurse did not give a damn. The video we're going to talk about, in the video that went viral, she didn't care. She was completely disconnected. And when people are disconnected, they don't like you. They don't care for you. She, in my opinion, I don't think she was concerned about the birth. I don't think she was concerned about the mother's health or the baby's health. We're going to get into it. Listen, you be the judge, okay? Now, the maternal mortality rates for Black women in Texas is about 2.5 times higher than that of white women. Black women that give birth in Texas have a 2.5 times more likely to pass away in labor and delivery. Why is that a problem? Oh, that's a huge problem. Let me tell you why. Did you see who was with the girl while she was talking to the nurse? Now, they say her mom was videotaping. Okay, that her mother was videotaping, but she didn't have a father. And what I mean by father, the father of the child that we know wasn't there. Oftentimes, I believe that Black women may be mistreated is because many of them go alone in labor and delivery and they don't have an advocate. This is just my belief. They don't have an advocate. They don't have a partner, and many times don't have privatized coverage. What do you mean by privatized? This is where it's going to get sticky. This is where it's going to get sticky. And before we get sticky, let me just, how do I want to do this? Let me think about it. Give me a couple of seconds just to think. I want to get into the statistics. Well, I'm kind of into the statistics about how in Texas, I'm basing it off of Texas. But I also want to talk about systemic racism in healthcare, right, wrong, or indifferent. If you do not have insurance, you can expect some type of subconscious and or conscious bias. It ain't right. It ain't fair. But in most cases, if you come up in there and you have a government funded Medicaid, whatever, you probably can anticipate a little bit of snubness. But if you prepare for it, you won't be caught off guard and or ambush, right? This is not something we're going to solve tomorrow. That's what I mean by systemic. See, sometimes it doesn't even start with the skin color. It starts with the demographics. It starts with access or lack thereof. Say it again, Queen Sheba. What you mean? So if I have Medicaid and I'm not really covered by a job, I can probably anticipate a little bit of bias, probably to a particular degree. Not wanting to treat you or feel like they should. Okay, because you got to remember, nurses and doctors are individual peoples too, with their own personal beliefs, with their own political concepts. Y'all following me? We also have implicit bias among providers and nurses. That's what I'm saying. People that have a particular way of thinking about a particular demographic. So if you come in and you don't have insurance, well, Medicaid, I just said implicit biases, systemic racism, people that feel like they're paying for you. You're lazy. This is going to be a tough. This isn't my thoughts, but if I can get you to get in the head of the people that sat there and tortured that young lady, you have a better understanding of who can do that. Somebody that thinks like that, somebody with an implicit bias. That wasn't a subconscious. That was conscious. Somebody that wants to see you suffer. Somebody that feels like they shouldn't even have to deal with you. Okay, Queen Sheba. Oh my God. Okay. Can you continue to make it make sense? Yeah. Before we even get into the labor and delivery room, I'm telling you what you may be walking into based on Capital One. What's in your wallet by way of healthcare insurance? Okay. Should I continue on? Hold on. So we covered that part, right? The implicit biases among providers, nurses, the systemic racisms in healthcare, and also how hospital settings, listen, Black serving hospitals. What you mean if it's Black serving? If you look around the waiting room, I'm going to put you up on game. And everybody, probably a great majority, 60%, over 50%, look like you get the hell up out of there. Well, they're going to charge me down the road. Let them charge you down the road. Let them charge you. And you'll figure that part out, because the first thing is your well-being and your health. And you want to make sure you receive the best level of care without the implicit and the systemic biases. You don't want nobody judging what level of care they feel like giving you based on the color of your skin. So when I say maternal mortality is higher among Black women compared to white women in the United States of America, and I do believe Texas may be number one. You may have to fact check me whether Black-white disparities in maternal in-hospital mortality vary across hospital types. Black serving versus non-Black serving is less. What you mean? County hospitals. Those hospitals where you see them treating people and dropping them off. And I do believe we're going to cover one county hospital. Texas is horrible. Yes. However, it's better if you have privatized care. What's privatized care? And I don't want to talk down to anybody, but I can't stand I don't want to assume that everybody's following. Healthcare can be very tricky. And the reason why healthcare can be very tricky because of the lingo. Okay, the nurses, the doctors, the what do you want to call them? Registration coordinators. See, we're embedded in the healthcare lingo. We know what it means, but oftentimes they don't pause to think, is it translating to you? Do you understand the complexities of healthcare? Can you navigate the words that they're using? Do you understand and they don't care to educate you in that moment. And that's why I'm here to educate you before I jump right in and just give you the viral moments and the entertainment piece of it all. Number one, I gave you your rights. Regarding patient-centered healthcare, how if you don't feel something is right, you can call the line. I mean, you can hold the line. You know what I'm trying to say, and say, listen, I need somebody else in here. I'm not feeling safe. I'm not feeling comfortable. I do believe you know the protocol. I'm asking for someone else, please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please. Okay. Please and thank you. The second thing is, if you do not possess privatized, if you don't have access, let me just say that, access to privatized care, there's a great probability that you will experience firsthand, directly or indirectly, a direct bias within the healthcare system. Second of all, if you're going to Black serving facilities, ooh, you have no idea. And you may say, my doctor is good. Ma'am, you have no idea if you don't have anything to put it up against, to measure up against it. You're probably getting a bare minimum, the bare minimum, enough to keep you alive and get up out of their faces, but nothing beyond that. Okay. It's 1 in a million in facilities like that where you're going to find I'm not saying the providers don't care. It's 1 in a million where you're going to find one that actually cares and establishes longevity there as a doctor or nurse. They normally go on because the loads are just too much. They're overworked, underpaid, and you get all kind of people that come in, right? From you that just need to deliver a baby to somebody else that's a substance users that has overdosed, people that are homeless, and it's just after a while, it's a freaking show. So people, the good nurses, the good doctors, they don't stay long. They recognize their craft, and rightfully so. They want to go somewhere to non-serving Black facilities so that they can make equitable and fair pay. Are y'all following me, or am I complicating the conversation? Okay. So Black serving versus non-Black serving, and teaching versus non-teaching, because there are some hospital facilities that are great. Even though they're a hospital, they are teaching facilities as well. People from all over the world come, medical students, to practice in specialties. Are you following me? So the maternal mortality rates differ across hospital types. I just like to pause so everybody can take it in. Now, when we talk about Texas, I said that Black women are the pregnancy related mortality ratio for Black women is about 2 times higher than that of white women. And as of recent, data has shown that approximately 39 deaths, that's a lot, per 100K live births. That's a lot. Now, here's what hospital systems do very well. They talk about the disparity, but they have not solutioned the disparity, which is why we had the audacity to see that white nurse sit on her ass as if that Black woman, that lovely Black mother who was about to give birth, wasn't shit, was not her equal, and she didn't care about her, and it was an inconvenience. Are you following me? Healthcare corporations are very good with data and putting it on a PowerPoint. And they're going to run down the story, but they have not done a really good job of solutioning the pain points in the hospital, especially the maternal mortality rates that are killing Black women. And that's why people was pissed off when Dr. Jackie took to her microphone to call Black women lazy. And they didn't want to work. And they were looking for an excuse when they were pregnant for doctors to write them out. Oh, when I tell you the disconnect, and please believe the disconnect, you would be a fool to think that the disconnect is only white versus Black. You heard Dr. Jackie. That's a Black woman. So don't be walking up in them places and thinking, oh, I got a Black OBGYN. Oh, I got a Black nurse. That means that my care is going to be better. Not necessarily. The disconnect is the disconnect. Black women are dying 2 times at a higher mortality rate with Black nurses and Black doctors in the room. So when I'm talking, I'm not just talking about white folk that are treating Black people. I'm talking about all of them. All of them. And that's what I gave you your rights. And when I talk about your rights, I'm talking about your rights as an individual, as a patient. It's not specific to delivering, labor and delivery. It's not specific to maternal health. I don't give a damn if you going in and you getting your teeth cleaned and they handling you excuse me, that's a little rough, ma'am. Can we A, B, C, D? Well, what do you want? I'm not sure. You're the specialist. Walk me through my options. What do we have? What are my choices? Power up, okay? Now, all of them. You got to be very careful because I do not want you to be blindsided and think that you're about to walk in. Oh, Queen Sheba covered that and she said that white. No, all of them. You got to be very careful. Now, hold on. Now, we talked about systemic racism in healthcare. We talked about the implicit biases by doctors, physicians, and nurses. Blah, 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 blah. We talked about the hospital settings, right? I want to get into the Black maternal mortality, increased risk in hospital even after them so-called adjusting the way they approach healthcare for socioeconomic factors. See, did you see any adjustment in how that Black woman was treated? Did that look like an adjustment to you? Or did that look did that resemble outright defiance? A level of I'm gonna stop short of saying hate. I'm gonna stop short because how can a woman we can just take race out. Let's forget the fact that she was a white nurse. You are a woman. You know what it is. When those labor pains come and those contractions, they start to get closer and closer together. You know what it is when a baby decides it's time and I'm gonna head in the direction of the birth canal and the hips have to adjust. You know what those cries are. And you sat there. That's cruel. That's sick. And because of people like that ignore beautiful Black women giving birth, Black women are more likely to die in the hospital. Even We talked about the disparities, Black serving hospitals. We talked about the Medicaid. We talked about that. You being a single, you definitely got to be careful if you're not married. Let me tell you something. The biases that Black women are up against, you have no idea. It's the same kryptonite that's often rendered in police brutality towards Black men. So the kryptonite for Black men are municipalities and police officers. The kryptonite for Black women is healthcare. You follow me? Black women have a 53% increased rate of dying in the hospital during childbirth. I gave you immediate barriers when you're walking through the door. It's being single. For real, Queen Sheba? Mm-hmm. They're going to think, oh, here we go again. They're having all these kids that I have to pay for, whether it's true or not, right? Implicit biases. Systemic. Here we go. She's on Medicaid. Right? That's gonna hit you automatically. It's an unspoken bias, right? Oh my God, Medicaid, single. What else did I say? Medicaid, single. There was another one I said. I can't remember. But watch this. Now let's go to the other side of the coin. You say, I listened to you, Queen Sheba. It's 2026. I have privatized care. It doesn't matter. You said I said here are the barriers that you're automatically up against when you walk in the door. If you don't have privatized care, if you're on Medicaid, if you're a single Black woman having a baby, and by single, I mean you check, not married. Okay. But I went and got the insurance. It doesn't matter because 50 Black women have a 53% increased rate of dying in a hospital during childbirth, no matter their income level, their education level, the type of insurance, or other social determinants of health. Y'all, these motherfuckers, if I ain't know any better, whoa, you should be very concerned. Extremely concerned. Now, with that being said, wait a minute. Yeah, you don't walk up and I'm up by yourself. You need a whole army to make sure you come up out of there. Make sure family, kids, mommies. You remember back in the day when a woman would get pregnant? It would be ceremonial. Back in the 80s, 70s, maybe even 90s. People be waiting at home. Is the baby here yet? Y'all, it's not the same excitement anymore. It's like, here we go again. So now times that by 1,000 by hospital staff, especially if it's multiple births, right? And then they got the audacity to feel like if you're Black, that you're asking for payments because you're a dope head. Yeah, that's the bias that Black women get oftentimes in the healthcare landscape. Just like Black men are assumed to be criminals, Black women are assumed to be dope heads. You're not in that much pain. She just wants drugs. You're exaggerating. And you be like, drugs? Baby, I went to school. You see my pedigree. She wants drugs. When they did research and they asked doctors, nurses, one of the top, why did they not believe Black women when they reported their level of pain? They said they didn't believe them because they thought they wanted drugs. Yeah. So even though they've quote unquote made adjustments, even though they've quote unquote produced the data and the analytics citing there's a huge problem in the healthcare system and they can't quite quote unquote figure out the reason, we know the reason why. Implicit biases, prejudice. And now this is what they're putting in place. Implicit bias training, culturally appropriate care. You can't train somebody not to hate somebody. I call bullshit. You can't train me not to imagine somebody trying to train you. Let's just say you don't like your neighbor. Never have, never will. And the HOA finds out that you don't speak to your neighbor. You wait until they go in the house before you come out and they say, "Hey, listen, we noticed there seems to be a bias." You say hello to everybody else, but not your neighbor on the right. So, what we've decided to do to address the issue is to send you through a neighborhood training. You'd be like, "What?" "Yeah, or you're going to be fined." "Okay, I'm going to take the training, but I still don't like his ass." Now, of course, you would never have to do that, but do you understand? Do you understand? Like, don't play. They are playing in our faces. We've had training, we've had 100 people that can sit in front of a computer and click fast forward, fast forward. All right, I took the damn training. And then have the nerves to throw it up on a LinkedIn profile. Lord have mercy. But Black women are still dying. Yes, and we've addressed the disparities. I don't believe training is helping. I don't think training will help. I think you know what I think people learn from real life experiences, real life consequences. I think you go to these schools, well, there's a shortage of healthcare staff, make it more attractive, pay better. Because when I have something to lose, I'll probably be a little bit more careful. I'll probably walk on eggshells and roll out the red carpet for all of my patients. But if I'm working in a shithole, not to make any excuses, and it's not so good, guess what? I'll just go work at another hospital. But if we start to recruit better, pay better, and then replace their asses and fire them on the spot based on the offense, there's nothing else to talk about it. That's it. That's all. Um, so they did a study, right? And this is like the most up-to-date study. And it was extensive. And they factored in the states, mostly red states, insurance types, hospital types, and income levels to determine the outcome of what they're seeing. Yeah, it's true that much higher maternal mortality rate among Black women um, do occur. And it's not because a difference in health, it's not because it's a difference in income or access to care. They just don't like us. And they are killing us in these hospitals by ignoring our pain threshold and letting us lay on these beds when they know and they can read your blood pressure and they can see your pulse. They can see you sweating, your temples filling with sweat. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But here's some things that you can put in place to at least have a better chance than somebody that doesn't have access to privatized care, somebody that is and have no choice but to be on Medicaid. And unfortunately, maybe somebody that got a divorce or has a baby daddy, at least. But at the end of the day, it really don't matter because it's like the lotto. You just never know what you're going to get when you walk up in there. And some of the causes of maternal death include the development, I think they said blood clots, heart failure. Now, why would my heart fail when I can when the pain is so severe? Fuck it. Your heart just stops beating because the body does have an automatic toggle switch that switches off. Heart failure, postpartum hemorrhage, letting you lay there bleeding to death, ignoring it. High blood pressure. I think they call it preeclampsia. You know why? All that pain that hasn't been what's the word? Waiting too long to give you your epidural. And if you think about how healthcare got its start in the earlier days, they utilized Black women as science experience. The OBGYNs would operate on Black women, perform hysterectomies, do all of that without administering anesthesia, and they would do it to Black slaves. Okay. I don't want to get that deep today. I can come back to it. There's a huge disparity gap between Black and white mothers. And this is how it's so bad. Watch this. Sometimes a death or the mortality is not immediate. And the center, the CDC, is saying they're going to qualify it or define maternal mortality as a death during pregnancy, delivering, or within 1 year of the end of the pregnancy because of negligence in care. Sometimes they've done stuff and it takes a year. That's crazy, but it's scary and it's happening in real time. And with that being said, let me go ahead and key up the video. So I just wanted to put out a little bit of educational information first, and then we can get into, yeah, the video. And listen, watch this. When they went back to investigate the disparity, y'all, it's so bad they have deemed it a public health crisis. Didn't we just have a public health crisis in 2020? Y'all following me? Ovid. So you mean to tell me the level and the rate that we're dying at is in the same category as Ovid? Man, something is off. So how did us procreating? Wait a minute, Queen Sheba, you might be onto something. Is this a way to discourage Black women from procreating? To remain in the minority? I don't know. I don't know. But all I want to know is how come Black women who decide to procreate and deliver a public health crisis because you may not make it up out of there. I suggest y'all do y'all research and look at these numbers because the math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing. Oh, we go deep on here. Over here, I hold in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. 90% of these deaths could have been preventable, according to the Texas Women's Healthcare Coalition. When they go back, you gotta do autopsies or whatever. You gotta make sure there's no malpractice. You gotta do whatever you gotta do. And they found that 90% of the time it could have been avoided. And guess when it increased? Watch this. Y'all gonna quit playing with me. We became a public health crisis. Do you know when? I'm gonna ask you this. I tell you what. When did Ovid hit? Put the years in the chat. When did Ovid hit? I'll put it here for you. Watch your words. Boom. We became a public health. You better go deep. I like to do my research over here. Well, I've been doing it anyway. But anywho, we became a public health crisis the same time Ovid hit. Mysteriously, we started dying in hospitals while giving birth. Now, if you remember during Ovid, nobody was allowed. Where? No, think about it. Nobody was allowed in the rooms. Baby, nobody was allowed. So are these really maternal mortality rates, or what y'all doing? Are you doing some type of scientific experiment? Do your homework, people. Nobody was allowed, no family. And if the mother doesn't live to tell what happened, how do we really know that she made it on the labor and delivery table? What y'all doing? Hmm? I don't believe in coincidences. All of a sudden, COVID hits, a public health crisis where people are told, what is it called? Lockdown in place, hunker in. And black women, not white women, black women that come to the hospital to deliver were 53, had a 53 percentage, a chance of dying. Huh. Interesting. Weren't we looking for a cure back then or something? See, the death is classified as maternal mortality, but I'm not in the room. Y'all following me? No, they didn't have one then. Shell said they have one. They didn't have one then. They were searching. And if you do the research, oh, I got to watch what I say. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say. I'm going to go on. I'm going to go on. So let's go ahead and look at this video. You picking up on it? In order for me to give you something to make you well, I got to go get it from some type of soft tissue. Soft tissue. Okay. And if scientists were saying during that time they were testing soft tissue in babies, in beautiful little black babies, their tissue was deemed so valuable that it could be an anti venom to all of the crazy stuff that was going on in the world. A solution to all of the stuff. Y'all didn't know that? Maybe I know that because, okay. And the tissue. Okay. To create a what? The V word. But we're not going to even go that deep. You said my daughter's a nurse at a major state university medical. She protects and advocates for our people all the time. And they'll let us get so far. They'll let us get so far. Miss Sugar Mama say, didn't I? Listen. So pay attention. Miss Sparkle said, this is deep. Miss Sparkle's baby, one thing you can't hide. It's out there if you go looking for it. It's out there if you go looking for it. So we became a public health crisis. You getting pregnant became a public health crisis the same time COVID hit. And when COVID hit and people were being admitted to the hospital, right, for COVID, you couldn't go in. And for 2 or 3 years, I think from 19, 20, 21, 22, maybe 22, they started letting people come back in. So people were in care, being wheeled out in body bags, and you were told, here's the cause of death. Now, we got to go with what the people say, which is why we're here today talking about the high maternal. Now, all of a sudden, you have mamas, midwives have been delivering babies, and Black women that have been doing well for decades. And all of a sudden, during a particular time frame, nobody can explain the phenomenon of these sudden deaths in these hospitals in a particular segment or zone on the map in the United States of America. People, listen. People, listen. And then they placed up, thank you, and gave free vaccines in particular areas, saying, come on, you can even drive through. I'm going to make it convenient. Don't get out your car. Bitch, you got me. Baby, I wish I would. But we're going to come back to that. Let's get into this video. Anytime somebody gives you something, decline it. Do you understand me? America has never been interested in your well-being. You would be a fool. You would be a fool to accept a handout by way of something that you would have to administer in your body. Nah, player, I'm good. And I'm not downplaying anybody that did what they needed to do. I'm good, player. What Martin said, player from the Himalaya. Nah, let me go out here and see what I can find. Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Hold on. And if you happen to do it, do not go to a standalone clinic. Do you understand me? You make your appointment in a healthcare facility because the batches are different. You heard it from me. You go to no CVS for no ooh shot or no Ovid shot. You take your ass to a hospital facility that treats real patients because your batches are going to be different. Well, why are they different? Because the doctors and the nurses have to take them. Got it. Let me see what y'all are saying in, in my chat. I'm going to hurry up and get up out of here. Hold on. I'm giving y'all way too much. Y'all didn't know that, did you? Standalone clinics, no ma'am. Yeah. Oh, Desira TV said that's the worst mistake I made. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes. Muted expression. Thank you, April. Registered nurse. Thank you, April. Registered nurse that says you're cooking. All right. You on what I'm on. You know, and I know. And don't you ever write on a sheet of paper that you've had COVID. Do you understand me? No. Have you ever been? No. Why not, Queen Sheba? Because they're going to deny you life insurance. Why would they deny me life insurance? You tell me. Is there a likelihood that you haven't? You know what? I'm ahead of myself. I'm going to do members only. I'm going to have to take this to members only. Information I know. Well, if I took an ovid and then I put that on a paper, I told, I don't know if it was, I told close friends and family, don't jot it down for 5 to 10 years after the public health crisis. You still got to 2030. There's an experiment going on right before your eyes with 2 demographics. I just named them. So wait a minute. Don't put it down. No, ma'am. Have you ever been? No. I don't believe so. Oh, no wonder why I couldn't find no life insurance coverage. They're all in bed together. So why would they not want to cover me? You do the math. What was in that thing? All right. Now let's continue. I went off. I went off grid. I love talking healthcare. I do, but I just don't do it here. All right, here we go. We're going to look at 2 different videos. Here's the one that went viral. And then I want to cover a family, a Central Texas couple that filed a complaint against the Baylor Scott and White Hillcrest after they lost their baby who was born prematurely. Oh, they over here. Listen, hold on. Here we go. This nurse had this lady seated more than 30 minutes and the delivery was awful. I don't think I'm going to cover.
When's your due date? Right now. Is your due date? What? How many times have you been pregnant? 3. This is your 3rd pregnancy? Yes. You have 2 babies at home? It's in my ass. You have 2 babies at home? Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the Black ones?
Beverly, this is the first time I have a patient for you. His last name is Jones. She's G3P2. I'm not sure when her due date is.
Her due date is the 10th.
Her due date is the 10th.
She got 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time. When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors. Everybody say how they treat.
This is disgusting. This is horrible. The OBGYN should have been called on the way to the. See, this was ER. Am I correct? See, why is she even in an ER when it's time for her to deliver? Do y'all get what I'm saying? So the level of care was negligent, even with the OBGYN. If she had one, should have already been in place. All right. When it's time for you to deliver, this is what's gonna happen. Dr. So-and-so may be on call. Da 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 da. Am I right or am I crazy? I was like, well, hold on now. What the fuck are you doing? This was absolutely horrible. Horrible. And the baby was born 12 minutes later. They say the baby was born with his eyes open. Eyes open. This is beyond disturbing. You try, listen. She said, it's in my R's. The baby was coming out. That nurse, listen, she knows from the description that the patient is using where we probably are in the phase of delivery. She didn't give a fuck. Now let's go to the next video. You got to pick your doctor, even if sometimes you just don't have access to privatized care. And hell, even when you do, you get some of them, you be like, hold up, baby, I got insurance. Oh, well, and even then you still see why we even got a fight coming in, whether it's Medicaid, privatized care or whatever, you still get talked to crazy. But what I'm trying to do is just to help you to recognize some signs that if you're going in at a disadvantage, how can I disarm them? To be honest with you, please and thank you. No problem. I can wait. Being as nice as possible. When you get a chance, I have a question for you because you're at a disadvantage in the healthcare system. Well, they're gonna treat me right. You can't make them do nothing. That's why it's called. That's why they're calling out the biases that exist. That was extremely cruel and inhumane. And now let's get to the other mother. Here we go. Turn this one off. I hope I got the right one. This one. So all of these stories are coming out now. I got to share my screen. Here we go. This is part 1. They rolled her out of the hospital, told her she was only dilated 3 centimeters, pushed her out. She had the baby.
Yes, you talk about my uterus.
Hold on.
My daughter's in active labor, and this is Franciscan Crown Point.
Hold on. This lady walked in with her husband. They wheeled her right on up out of there. Wheeled her out to the hospital outside. Said, you're not ready yet to deliver. She gave birth 8 minutes later. He delivered his own baby in a truck after being wheeled out of the hospital. Let's start all over, just to give you a little bit of background.
About my uterus.
Look, nobody cares in the background.
This is
you got black. Is that a black woman back there? I told you.
Franciscan Crown Point being put out and active. My daughter is being kicked out of this hospital and she's in active labor.
Okay.
8 minutes later. Just delivered. In the car. Headed back to the freaking hospital. Hold on. Willed her out. Who made that call? I don't know if you could sue. It's hard to prove malpractice, as you all know. For those of you that y'all don't know that, but people in the healthcare industry know that, because you would actually have to get a doctor, a nurse, or somebody, a tech, an anesthesiologist to say yes, he or she did ABC, and that typically doesn't happen. Can y'all see? Hold on. Dang, it turned off.
And she's in active labor.
Hold on now. Right here. We saw that part. Give me 1 second. Hold on. It's the longer video. Bear with me. Pushing her out. I gotta fast forward. I'm gonna just fast forward. I'm trying to fast forward, y'all. Now, I want to put a disclaimer. The people that often push the wheelchairs, even though they have on scrubs, they may be PCAs. Those are like patient care, PCAs, patient care associates, patient care. I can't remember the other or what the other work. That's just their job. They don't really hold like a medical license to administer like medicine. They just get called up to wheel patients in and out, PCAs, okay? Depending on what level, but they are not the bad guy in most cases, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you, sir, for taking care of your wife. And he's gonna get her back in the truck. 'Cause what can he do? Thank you for being a great husband. I'm fast forwarding. I got a short attention span. Sorry. It looked like somebody's looping this video. That baby's ready to come out. Hold on. Let me see if I can fast forward. Yeah, okay, it's looping. You get the point. The point is she delivered the baby in the truck 8 minutes after them releasing her, kicking her, asking her to leave. And what I hear is because they had a shortage of bed. Horrible, horrible OBGYN. Horrible. Because how come you didn't have a secondary delivery facility lined up? A secondary OBGYNs can deliver at a lot of more than one hospital now. That's crazy. But this is what we're up against. I don't want to go too deep. Can be an extended conversation. You guys asked me to cover it, and I wanted to cover it. Okay. And then you can ask for. I'm trying to think. A hospital supervisor. They call them. They used to be nurses, but then they go and work on the administrative side. What's the formal name for them? Charge nurse. If the charge nurse ignores your request. If they won't, get them, ask for a social worker, then ask for the house supervisor. Oh, I forgot the formal name of the house supervisor. Nigel said, how can you see her like this and kick her out? Insane, because they become immune. Listen, all you need to know, 2019 to 2020, something changed. You say, I've noticed in ER waiting rooms, Black patients may wait longer as white ones are seen first, regardless of place in line or matter of urgency. Don't check Black, check white. Shit, if everybody can identify with being something, identify with being white that day. Now, listen, I'm going to get in her outfit and you say, what if she had complications or something was wrong with the baby? Yeah, that's what I was saying, gently, Coy. And I said, it's hard to prove malpractice. How you say malpractice? Malpractice. I'm sorry, malpractice. Like a Texas accent is coming out. Malpractice and healthcare, because you would actually have to have a physician, a provider, a nurse, a doctor, a scrub tech, anesthesiologist, somebody to say, yes, I saw him or I saw her and he did ABC wrong. And most times they probably won't. Transporters, yes. Transporters, PCA, yeah, transporters. Yes, in Chicago. But they do wear scrubs. So sometimes people like, that nurse, that could have been a transporter, you know. I don't know. I saw it somewhere online about the 3 centimeters. I think I made a mistake. Do PCAs push wheelchairs sometimes? Or no? I could be getting the name confused. They can, right? If y'all need them to as a nurse. I should. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell, it's hard to get somebody to go on. Jasmine, that's a really good question. She said, can you please interview a lawyer who specializes in healthcare? It's hard to get somebody to talk healthcare openly. It's taboo. It's hard to get somebody to talk about it openly and really talk about the disparities and what's happening. Most of them want to lay low. You said they are responsible, Queen. She now has a video of everything done to her by the hospital. Oh, listen. Okay, that's true. But I'm going to empower you. You said this just makes me want to cry. They don't care about us. As long as you care about yourself, you go in that motherfucker confident. Let me say my words. You go in that motherfucker knowing your rights, not screaming your rights, knowing your rights. Even if you're joking, even if you're a hard stick, say, all right, now I'm gonna give you 2 sticks. Oh, that's it. Yes, you know the protocol, and I do too. Jokingly, you can be joking with them. After that, we're gonna have to pull that sonogram from ER. I can't let you stick me multiple times like that. Okay, we're gonna get it. You know what? Let me go get Kristen. She's a better. Oh, I know that's right. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, Coy. But if you know your rights, always lead with please and thank you first. Listen, I'm gonna always be nice first before I get jiggy with it. But in those situations, you have to kind of, you gotta, you know what I mean? They're not gonna do that. We got too many people that are self-centered. You say we need politicians. We got too many people that are moles that are selling the Black vote. Unfortunately. And that's why I want to talk about Bravo and Toya and Dr. Heavenly. I knew what Toya meant. And people say, oh, you should vote for a Black woman. Excuse me. I knew exactly what Toya meant. You don't get my vote because you're Black. I need to know that you understand the assignment, even if I don't live in the district. I need to know your head is on straight. I need to know that this is not for clout, but you really have a genuine interest in the well being of the Black community and not just another accolade on your notch or your resume because you're a Dr. Heavenly Kimes. I understood what Toya was saying, period. I understood what she was saying. We got too many people that's willing to sell us out. We got too many people running for office, but they don't have a vested interest in any of us. It's almost like for me, by me. I'm running for office for me because of me. And I'm going to throw out black this and black that while I'm on my campaign trail. And I still, look, see ya, sucker, when I get in the office. And I understood what Toya was saying. So back to what you were saying. We need Black power. Child, please. Half of them won't even come over and say hi. You saw how, oh, I almost slipped and said something. I almost slipped and said something. You saying they have the nerves to be, you know why they increased the premium? So the reason why the premiums, so the reason why you see your premiums go up is because, if you're seeing premiums increase, that's because you probably work for a particular employer that's providing privatized care where they pay a bulk of the premium and then you pay your cost share, right? Your out-of-pocket fees, blah, 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 until you meet your benefit maximum. But here's the problem. When premiums jump up, that means the population is sick. What you mean the population is sick? That means the bulk of employees that your employer covers, there's called a plan benefit. And they know everything about you. When your employer purchased the plan from the carrier, whether it's Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, Cigna, da 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 da, right? So the salespeople go out, they sell these plans, they go out to market. Your employer purchases it. They extract all of your data, pretty much, as a collective. They know your BMI, they know how skinny you are, how fat you are, what kind of meds you are. So if the plan runs according to plan, the premiums remain the same. If the benefit plan starts running a little bit higher than anticipated, that meaning the employee population is sick, somebody has cancer, somebody's in high blood pressure, somebody just had an OD, or her child is on, and da 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 da, and they factor all of that into how the plan runs. And if the plan is not trending in a positive direction, and the healthcare carrier begins to lose money for providing coverage to your employer to provide coverage for you, they're going to charge you for being sick. Do you understand? That's why you see your premiums go up. I'm not sick. Somebody here is. If somebody died, somebody has an accident, catastrophic cost is what they call them. If somebody's not going to get their physicals. I said a lot. Yeah, thank you, D. She said you're exactly right. You're in the healthcare? Okay, thank you, D. Yep, that's how it runs. That's how it runs. So what can I do? Not too much. I don't know. It's just remember, wherever they got it from, you can go find it. What are you saying? You better pick up what I'm putting down. What you mean, wherever they got it from? If there's a market, if there are healthcare plans in the market, go research it. How much would it cost for you to carry yourself? Oh, you can purchase it. You can go wherever they got it from. That's it. And that's what I mean, Coy, when you say they don't care about us. All you need to do is care about yourself and start thinking outside the box and say, wait a minute. That Queen Sheba page told me if I go looking, I'm going to find it. It ain't a secret. We just don't dig long enough. I got you. Hold on. What'd you say, Girlfriend Chronicles? She said, my appointment today with a foreign physician, temp fix to do injections, then see. Nope, give me my surgery. She said it will. Oh, her temporary fix was to do injections. Baby, you're not finna pump me. I get you. You're not finna be pumping me up with this in my blood because it's still a drug, even if it's a feel good drug. Toxins are carried through the drugs. And you also have to watch some antibiotics because they do put pathogens in your blood system that can rupture your Achilles tendon. I love healthcare. I just don't talk about it over here. Okay. She said it will be scheduled. I advocate for myself at my appointments because they won't, or they'll do what you let them do. If you're going to let me poke you 5 or 6 times and see what happens, I'm going to poke you 5 or 6 times because some doctors, believe it or not, if you know how to go look them up, need practice with cutting people open, need practice with doing cesareans, need practice. They don't have enough surgeries under their belt, and they'll recommend these invasive treatment modalities. And you be like, I thought I gotta get it. Go look. How many surgeries have they performed? You be like, bro, I'm your second one. Hell no. You can go find that information. Did you not know that? Nah, you're not gonna do that to me. You ain't never pulled no teeth before. Hell no. No wonder why my jaw was hanging off last year. I'm being silly, but this is happening. You get it? A little humor to take the heat off. The marketplace. Spoiled girl. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, the phrase. Thank you, Desira, for backing me up, fact checking me, and keeping me honest in today's conversation. She said, and yes, you can. Remember, I said, whatever they got it from, you can go get it too. You just need to know where to go. Okay. You remember they say if you put it in a book, we wouldn't find it? That's a lie. Wait, Queen, I can go. They say it's expensive. Don't listen to what they say. Just get out there and research and get what you can afford this year or next year. You can always work your way up. You said, and one of my sons is self-employed. It's out there, research. It sure is. Yeah, the biometric test. Okay, let me see what Evolving Me said. Y'all saying Evolving Me is on to something. Let me go and look. My employer wants us to go to a virtual doctor and it's free. They're going to push it because it's less cost for them. That means, so what they've done is it's called a physician. So they have these group, right? Where they get these physicians and you kind of put them into like, what's the proper word? Networks. Okay. And you give them, you say, we're gonna push you out as a quality care provider. We're gonna tell them you're available 24/7. It's free. It's free. If you charge me this amount, blah, 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 I'll make sure I feed you what? Customers. You don't have to go out and find your patients. We'll send them to you. We're gonna direct them right to you. Y'all, when I tell you it's a cold game, it's a cold game. Now, listen, virtual doctor is good. Sunday night, you feeling your stomach is hurting, you got a headache, your child, mommy, I got a fever, a virtual doctor is great. They can call in that prescription to CVS. You can pay extra for CVS to deliver it to your home. You're on vacation, you got food poisoning. Let me get on the phone with this doctor. Sir, can you send me? Yes, that is great for that. But you do not want to supplement a virtual doctor for a real doctor. You still want to go in for your preventative care. Technology is definitely convenient. It's not always effective. You get what I'm saying? So you don't have to utilize a virtual care doctor in place of a PCP, which is a primary care physician. If you're not comfortable with that, we have the synonym called Know Before You Go. Know what levels of care will be appropriate before you go to a hospital or need a doctor so that you are good to go. You know what I'm saying? Sinus infection, you know what? Let me jump on the phone for a virtual care doctor. Yeah, he can prescribe you something, CVS, Walgreens, wherever. You go pick it up, or hell, you ask them to deliver it to your house and you pay extra cost. You know what I mean? But I would definitely want to establish, if I were you, a medical relationship with my primary care physician, period. And any primary care physician that prescribes you meds for a mental health condition and don't prescribe you to a therapist or refer you to a therapist, you need to be looking at them sideways, because if I'm crazy and if I'm in fact indeed depressed and I have anxiety or stress, don't you want me to get better? And a part of getting better is working with another medical specialist who specializes in mental health care. So anybody that's giving you pills and haven't referred you to a behavioral health specialist, mm, mm, and continues to refill for you without requiring that you go in and do a mental health assessment, because 85% of people that are on healthcare plans that are taking meds for mental health conditions are not being referred out to a therapist by regular doctors. A regular doctor does not specialize in mental health. Well, my doctor got me on. Why? He ain't no damn psychologist. He could have you on the wrong thing. And if you understand mental health conditions, some of you are not as sick as you think you are, but you have been prescribed the wrong medicine by a PCP who does not specialize or operate in a mental health capacity, and just giving you shit because they're tied in with the pharmacist and they get a kickback on commissions. Quit playing with me. Thank you, spoiled girl. Ask the nurses. Don't y'all get all them nice things when the farm girls and boys come in? The food and the gifts and the break room, the good old food from these high-end steakhouses and places. Baby, when I tell you business is being had, hands are being shaken on keeping you sick and misdiagnosed. You better ask me. There is a doctor, I can't tell you his name, and I tried to get him to come out here and talk to y'all about the prevalence of misdiagnosis in African American people. The federal government did a study and an audit, and these doctors did not know they were being audited, and they were purposely misdiagnosing Black people, making them crazy and putting them on meds to keep them mentally incapacitated. I'm done. And you wonder why Black women are dying at a higher rate than anybody else. Baby, there is a price tag on your head. You are worth more dead than you are alive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you have something that people need for science. So what you saying? Go back and listen. So wait a minute, but I've been going to my doctor for 20. Or are they? Is he a psychotherapist? No. Mental health counselor? No. And how the hell he know? Has he used a DSM-5 to really? Because there's a presenting problem. You come in, that's a presenting. What's wrong? I've been stressed and depressed. But that's presenting. That's what you've presented. That may not be what you have. Only a psychotherapist. See, we're gonna triage you and say, well, what's the presenting problem? She said that she is bipolar. She said, or he said that he's this. Okay. But you need the expert to assess and determine if that's indeed accurate. Because if that's not accurate and it's just presenting, you are taking the wrong meds, if you even need meds. Maybe you just needed a fucking break. Maybe you needed 3 months of FMLA because you were stressed out to the core. But instead, somebody gave you pills to pop. And you ain't came off of them in 5 years. I'm not saying in all cases. I'm saying in most cases, what the FDA and the federal government found that was being done to Black people. All right, I'm done. These types of conversations is like what I like having behind my wall. Your wall. You see what I'm saying? So we can get our experts to come in. So we can get the experts that are comfortable talking and giving us valuable information that could be helpful to those that come to YouTube for more than mess and doxing and getting cussed out. We can't even do that in peace. Anywho, that's all I got. We got to get ready for later tonight, Krishan Rock. We're going to do all of that. Yep, you did, Miss Sugar Mama. Yes, you did. You're very welcome. Cynthia Christian says, thank you, Queen Sheba, for the information. My pleasure. And you have to know that as a product developer, I'm deeply embedded in research and data and analytics, but I can't talk like that on YouTube because that's not my channel, right? I have to do another channel to really get into all of that. You know, that ain't what y'all are over here for. So I just don't do it because y'all come over here for entertainment and, you know, behind the wall for other stuff. But yeah, it's my wheelhouse. Now we're laying in the dust. Yeah, I like to roll around like a little dust ball, like the little dirty ball on Charlie Brown every now and then. You know, I'll throw in my shade. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh. Bruh. Bruh.
Coy, that was for you. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all, I can talk healthcare. I love talking healthcare. I like talking insurance. I like talking about how women can make money, but we typically do it behind a wall. And we're going to do more of it. Okay. We're going to close out 2025 real strong, open up 2026 with a bang. We're going places, and you're welcome to join us, members only. But tonight we're coming back. I said, well, at least they learned something today. Listen, take what you need and discard the rest. Thank you, Queen Liz. She said, such a great conversation always. And thank you all for your support. I couldn't do it without you. You know what I'm saying? You all determine how we set the cell over here. You reached out to me. My moderators backed it up. So they want you to talk about what's going on, the disparities in the maternal mortality rate for Black women. I can go deeper, and I probably will, but we'll do it behind the wall since that's a different, it's just a different topic. You know what I mean? Fierce Linus said, when I came back to the States from working overseas, I was diagnosed with a parasite and the wrong diagnosis. My gallbladder was inflamed and I could have died. I was rushed into emergency surgery. You know what? What'd kill it immediately? You remember what I said the other day behind the wall? I said, anything that you starve must die. Parasites need a host in order to feed. If you are starting to feel stuff, stop eating. And I'm not saying forever, right? And I'm not talking to you because you got your situation taken care of. But if something starts to feel off, the first thing you want to do is cut off the source, which is the food. Stop eating and give your body a chance to get rid of any toxins, any parasites, anything that does not belong there, because it can't live if you don't provide it a place to host the feast. I hope that helps. But that's great how you shared that. Thank you for sharing that, the diagnosis with the parasite. And it was wrong. Oh, Lord have mercy. Thank you, Jasmine. Jasmine Rose says, thank you all kindly. I learned so much. Tennessee Girl says, I love this. Bravo. You're welcome. And I have healthcare people that would love and come to talk to y'all. I can call in favors and just get people to come in and do, education, help you pick out benefit plans, insurance plan, walk through you what's covered, what's not covered, what that means. And we'll start doing a little bit more of that behind the scenes. Thank you, Hershey. Hershey says, this was a great conversation. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. I got to tell y'all something, and then I'm going to get out of here and get ready for tonight's conversation. I'm going to make me a shrimp salad, but I got my first, y'all. Hold on. You'll never guess what happened to me today. I got my first attack. Believe it or not. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I was let me see if I can find it. Yep. Where is it? Hold on, y'all. It should be right here. Well, I thought it was. Hold on. Give me like 2 seconds. Let me look at something. Thank you for your patience. Uh-oh. Here we go. I knew I was going to find it. Here we go. I found it. All right. So what I was going to say is today I was attacked. I was attacked today by a dog. I was attacked by a dog in the rain. I kid you not. I was attacked by a dog in the rain. Ain't he cute? That's a cute little dog, ain't it? Coy said, how? You got to watch them dogs in the rain, honey. He ran up on me. If you know, you know. If you don't, it'll hit you upside your head a little bit later. And with that being said, thank you, everybody. I'll see y'all a little bit later. All right.